Happy brunch, everyone. Happy brunch. I don't think I need these. I have these, but I don't need them because I don't have a guest. Can everybody hear me okay? How are you, lovers? Hello, lovers. Hello, darlings. Hello, mischievous folks from all over the world. It is I, Whimsy. Hello. I shall put on my hat. Okay, let's see. One of them is having a problem. Okay, that's right. How's the sound? Good? All right. I'm just getting a little organized here. It is the last night of Hanukkah. I got my jamboree. You know that I have a jamboree. In case anybody wants to sing, we have jamboree here on Sundays. We're just finishing our Hanukkah. Anybody know the Hanukkah song? Hanukkah, Hanukkah, the great celebration. Hanukkah, Hanukkah for all of the nations. Happy holiday for it's Hanukkah time. Happy holiday for it's Hanukkah time. You guys know that one? See the candles burning, see them burning so brightly. See how each flame. I think I'm not going to be able to put this in here. Dances ever so lightly. Happy holidays for it's Hanukkah time. Happy holidays for it's Hanukkah time. You know what? I think we're going to have to let the candle go because I would have to clean this out. And I don't think that I always like to have the candles going, right before the holidays. When I was a kid, I used to have a dress up. Y'all had dress up when you were kids. The only problem is that the adult costumes didn't fit because they were too large. And then we got to have some music. We got our costumes. We got some lights here. It's awesome. It's fun to be me. Oh, I know what we could do. We got a little tiny. We got one of these we could put up. I just like light. Am I the only one that feels this way? More light, the better. More light, the better. So you guys know the Hanukkah song. Each candle recalling the days of the brave Maccabee. You know that one? Now we're leaving that and we got to go into another group of songs. It's beginning to look a lot. Oh, you can really see. Can you all see in the crystal that there is a baby that was born? You see the mommy and child inside my crystal? The light blinking off, this is a real crystal and it's got it's got a mommy and a baby inside of it. Isn't that cool? All right, I know. No crystals are like people. Crystals are like people. Each is unique. Each is an individual. Each has a soul or an energy. In shamanism and animism, even stones have a consciousness. There's a consciousness even to the stones, to the mountain. So why did that particular crystal make its way into my home that had that particular energy feeding the mother and child, the feeding of the mother and child? Well, I'd like to think that maybe it's because I meditate a lot on Kuan Yin, cosmic consciousness of the Divine Mother, right? So maybe we need more of that. We need more of the consciousness of Divine Mother. And maybe that is why we found a crystal. The crystal that came to us is a pregnant mother, which I think is really cool. The other thing is it makes me think of the stars, this particular crack, because you have like the galaxy and then you have a distant star. You can also think of it that way, as like a universe is within the crystal. Isn't that cool? How is everyone? Anybody love stones and crystals as much as I do? Anyone feel the physical differences that happen when you connect with a crystal or a stone? Is it in our heads, or is there something really to it? Is there something really to this idea of connecting with an energy or a scent? Another example would be how we feel when we're in a particular room, right, that has a particular color to it. We get depressed if we're in black rooms, or we get depressed in certain colors. It has an effect on us mentally. And the same could be argued with the stones, right? Each stone, here's some obsidian. This is one of my, excuse me, one of my favorite stones for protection and grounding, as is jet. I have a lot of these kinds of stones, like the jet and the obsidian, for protection and grounding. And I wipe them down. Sometimes I will sage them. I don't recommend dipping them in salt water because they will crack. The ions in the salt can cause a chemical reaction with the metals and actually damage your stones. So smoking them or wiping them down with cloth and then leaving them next to a bowl of salt water, but I would never directly dip them. And friends of mine have lost their crystals that way. I think it was citrulline, a large citrulline that Chuck bought, and he wanted to purify it in salt water. And when he lifted it up, it fell into a million pieces because the salt had ionized and bound with the metals in the citrulline and caused it to collapse into a million pieces. And he learned from that. The colors are from the metals, right? So sodium and chloride are positive and negative charged ions when they hit the water. And so you could actually damage the stones. And so it's just kind of be aware of that. And I've heard also that some stones work well with other stones. I've also heard people say that some stones will be in conflict with other stones, but I've never found that to be the case. Maybe because they don't always grow together, or they can't all be, they're not all found in the same place. I love malachite. This is one that really speaks to me. It's you can't see it because of the green. Oh, here you go. But the reason I like that is because I focus a lot on opening the fourth chakra as a remote viewer. And so I will concentrate on the pinks and the green stones, just because they do work a lot with that fourth chakra. And you can also, if you are taking remote viewing class with me, which again starts, Hanukkah ends tonight, so classes resumes tonight. I had a Hanukkah party last night. I completely forgot about the Sunday class. It was, I think, the first or second night of Hanukkah, and I got dragged off to something. But hey, I can't say no to a ladka. What can I tell you? Potato pancake, yeah, you put that in front of me and I'm butter. The only complaint I have about Hanukkah is it's so many carbohydrates. It's sufganiyot, which is have y'all know what a sufganiyot is? It's a powdered donut stuffed with jam and other things. And that's traditionally what people make as sufganiyot. And then the other thing in addition to the sufganiyot we have is the ladkas, which is like fried and greased potatoes. But you gotta, usually if you're having guests over, you'll have it with like a roasted chicken or something. Like you gotta have some protein, people. Anyway, so that's my excitement about all the new stones I've gotten and all the other cool stuff that's going on here at the channel. I'm playing with thumbnails. I'm learning how to make thumbnails with AI. That's kind of fun. I don't know if y'all get a kick out of the new thumbnails we're doing. Okay. So this is our new book of the month. I thought I would give a shout out to everybody who is part of our book club. and that is The Trouble with Truth, a memoir by Elizabeth Kelly Stevenson. It is her autobiography with coming to terms with her healing journey. And that is our book, and I need to reach out to her, and hopefully she'll be in our studios next month for the interview. For those of you who have registered at the Elders and Empaths level, there will be class tonight unless I fall asleep or completely zone out, in which case it will be at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you are an Elder and Empath, I strongly encourage you to try and see the class today, because we're going to be talking about trance states. It's my favorite lecture of our 10-part lecture series. If you haven't ordered the book yet, also, please make sure, if you are a student, to see if you can go on Amazon or Thrift Books if you're protesting Amazon, which I totally get. But if you are able to attend our class, that would be great. And for whatever reason, I don't see the book. The book is Hands of Light. Hands of Light. I'm going to have to try and find my other Mac. Maybe it's in my, I think it's got to be in my, I have two Kindles. Let me see if it's in the classic Kindle. Oh, maybe it's in the traditional Kindle. Let's take a look. This is really weird. My book went missing. Huh, that's very strange. Have you guys ever had a book disappear? Yeah, it's very strange. Hands of Light. Anyway, Hands of Light is the book. And for whatever reason, it is not here. Oh, there it is. Huh, that's strange. Yeah, so this is the book. If you are learning remote viewing from me, I just want to do a real quick announcement on this. You can get it at Thrift Books Used, or you can get it, I don't know, at any, at Thrift, or there's plenty of places to get Hands of Light. But it is a really important book if you are trying to learn remote viewing. And one of the things that we love about this book is the imagery. So if you have never learned remote viewing, and if you don't know anything or would like to learn, or just to have a fresher course on the anatomy of the astral body, the energetic body, then this course will cover that. We get into the chakras, which are part of the book, as well as the etheric bodies. We focus on 7 bodies. Of course, there may be many, many more, but some people have said there are up to 14. That's cool. But for the class, we're going to be focusing on 7 bodies. The physical body is connected to 7 other bodies. The first, of course, being the astral body, which you can see on the right, which is easy to see if you put your hands up to a wall and you see that blue grayish color next to your fingers. That's the astral body. So I love this class. I love teaching it. And we go into some of the experiences you have as a remote viewer when you put yourself in the shoes of another person, which includes feeling or giving off an aura when you're remote viewing that will often match the energy of the person you're attempting to make contact with. You begin to mirror the other. This happens in love or in intimacy, where, say, a woman goes into labor and her husband starts to have labor pains. This empathy, this ability to feel or connect and mirror back what the other person is giving us. And that's really at the heart of remote viewing. Going in, checking with yourself, checking with the other, whether it's to do a healing or simply to gather information. The other thing we talk about is this idea that there are astral beings or beings on the other side that work with us and assist us in the realm that is healing or astral travel or remote viewing. We will often connect with energies on the other side. This is how my colleague Chuck Dransfield works, where he will often go into these types of altered states and then open himself up as a receiver to different types of information that's coming to him. And you can often see or feel tears in the astral body as you begin to mirror the feelings of another human being. And that's also something that we see, for example, when we remote view somebody like Donald Trump, we often will get into the emotional body. You know, he presents as not an emotional person, but when you go into his energy, you see a great deal of emotion. And that's common with some types of cluster B. It's not that they don't feel, it's that when they feel something, it's usually directed towards themselves. It's this idea that it's all about them, or they're upset because it impacts them personally. Well, let's go ahead. We'll turn the camera around. We'll say hi to all of you. And tell us what you're eating, where you drink, what you're drinking, where you're coming from. Hi, Jeremy. Great to see you here. I see Richmond Burton is here as well. I'm going to grab my tea. Why don't you go ahead and tell me who you are? Turn around, say hi to everybody here at the table. This is our brunch table. We get together and hang out and have tea. And we do predictions. We do a little remote viewing. We play with the cards. You're welcome to join us. We have tea. We eat. It's basically tea time for the group. And it's real casual. You can come and go as you like. Step away from the table. Come back in half an hour if you find the conversation boring. We don't just blitz away because, I mean, that would be exploitive. No, we have tea, we have our brunches, and we hang out, and it's a lot of fun. Okay. Whoops. How am I doing here? All right. Does everybody have their... Okay, Joanne Corbett is having an elderberry tea. Shizzle 1234 is enjoying a roasted chicken soup, a roastery chicken soup. Oh, that sounds like a great idea. You know what I can never get enough of? This seems like a simple pleasure, right? I can never get enough egg noodles. Egg noodles. They go in everything. They increase the protein. Also, if you love pasta and you're worried about the glycemic index, rice noodles have no protein. That's why you just don't feel as good on rice noodles as you do on wheat noodles, because wheat has so many more, so much more protein. But if you want to add to that, throw in a couple eggs, and then you've got a really high protein pasta. Oh, according to Joel Tilson, it looks like Trump was in Walter Reed. You know, I'm a little worried about him. I feel bad. I feel sorry for him because his world is crashing down, and it's happening so publicly, and it's quite frankly difficult to watch. And I know you've all counseled me because I am your favorite empath, sort of. So, your favorite empath that's named Whimsy, who lives in this apartment. We'll say that. Okay. So listen, folks. I have been accused in the past of having too much empathy for people who are cruel, mean, and awful. But I wouldn't be able to do my job if I didn't have such an ability. What do you all think about Donald Trump's behavior in the last couple days? Is it more desperate than it has been in the past? And if so, how? If it's changed, how has it changed? Because I can tell you I see a change. When you think nobody is getting your signal, when you think nobody is listening, or when you think people have turned off, you raise your voice, right? You start to raise your voice and you do that because you're angry and threatened, right? So, is this why we're seeing more raging? Is this why we're seeing Trump's voice going up? Is it because he doesn't feel that anyone's listening to him? Put it down there so I don't have to move. Oh my goodness. I don't know, folks. I don't know. But I can tell you that I heard a voice inside my head that said Donald Trump will be finished in 5 months. And that was close to 5 months ago. I just can't even imagine what kind of mental state he's going to be in after Christmas, since he seems to be crashing. And I think somebody this sick, what would happen if he caught a virus? You know, adult respiratory syndrome takes out a lot of seniors. And this is, wouldn't it be ironic if it was his CDC that took him out by being irresponsible and cutting funding for the CDC? And then what happens to Donald Trump? What ends up taking him out? A health crisis, because God, I can't find my tissue. Wouldn't that be a great irony? Sitting on it. He didn't believe in COVID. He didn't believe in that stuff. And then it came around again and took him out. Right? And the next thing you know, he's in the hospital on a respirator because, like a lot of seniors pushing 80, he has no immune system left. Could that happen? 100%. Because of his age and because of the fact that he's being exposed to so many people. So my concern, just going back to the remotes and the fact that they're saying, no, you are watching the collapse now. The conversation that people are having is, are we set up to remove the president quickly in the event of an emergency? Yes, because Article 25 can happen immediately, and JD Vance can take control immediately, and then the president has to challenge it. And then the president has, say, 21 days to challenge it. And then it has to go before the House and the Senate with a 2/3 majority. The president and the Department of Justice are actively involved in a cover-up to cover up information about the worst serial pedophile in U.S. history and the fact that it appears to be linked to Donald Trump. Is that good for Donald Trump? Is this the beginning of the end? His health is crashing. He's actively involved in a cover-up over Epstein. The economy is trash. What is he hoping for? He's hoping that he can pull out, get to peace in Gaza. And the only way he can get to Gaza peace is if Hamas agrees to leave Gaza. So December 27th, right after Christmas, who's showing up in Mar Largo? Bibi Netanyahu. Why is Bibi Netanyahu showing up? because they got to pull this off. Because if he doesn't pull this off, peace in the Middle East, we're going to do that rebuild. If he doesn't do that, then it's just one loss after another. He needs a win. He needs a win. And so with Bibi showing up after Christmas, Bibi and Sarah are going to show up. It's going to be great. He won't have to fly to DC, right? We want to limit his flying. We certainly don't want a guy with congestive heart failure, and we believe has congestive heart failure. Artificial intelligence took a look at him and gave a rough estimate that he lied about his weight, and that his weight is closer to about 265 pounds based on artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence also said he lied about his height. He's only 6'1". So he's 6'1", 265 pounds, and 79 years old. Based on his physical appearance, history, etc., artificial intelligence told us he probably has type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is associated with an increased risk for what? Alzheimer's and coronary artery disease. Whatever is bad for the brain is bad for the heart. So now we have artificial intelligence saying, analyze patient, analyze image. How, based on this image, how much does this guy weigh? 265, 6'1". So we're talking about an obese person who it would be beyond impossible. He would be a unicorn if he didn't have type 2 diabetes. You don't become obese after years of eating junk food, pushing 80, and not have blood sugar dysregulation. So what is that doing to your brain? Then we talk about congestive heart failure, and what can happen in congestive heart failure can be deep venous thrombosis, right? Because you have chronic venous insufficiency. You have chronic venous insufficiency because the heart is pumping too slowly, which causes a buildup of pressure, which causes damage to the valves in the venous system. And then you have fluid overload, so you have to have IV diuretics. This is what the computer came up with, not knowing that we were talking about Donald Trump. So if you're just looking at it as patient A, we called this person patient A, and we asked, I had to change it from Donald Trump and say, this is patient A. Tell me what you think of patient A. When will it become apparent to people close to this individual that he's mentally impaired or that he's seriously sick? Well, according to AI, they already know, but it should be very apparent within 1 to 3 months. Is it painful to watch? It's very painful to watch. What happened to Fred Trump? He started to push 80, and it became apparent that he had Alzheimer's, right? When did he die? At 89. So Alzheimer's is a slow disease. Dementia is a slow disease. When did they start to realize that Ronald Reagan had dementia? His final years, right? His final year and a half. How long did he live? A long time, right? 10, 15 years after that, he was still alive. He didn't know who he was. You guys know Susan Powter, the weight loss guru? She was in somewhere, I think LA or something, and her kid was playing baseball, and they were like trying to hit the ball. They were just playing some in some neighborhood in California, and a limo and some security guards came out, and the security guards said to the kids, "The President of the United States would like to swing the bat." And they said, okay. And out walked, assisted a very old Ronald Reagan, and they gave him the bat and he just kept swinging it, and they were throwing the ball and he was just swinging it. And Susan Powter asked her son, what kind of mental state was Ronald Reagan in? And the kid said, like he was dead, but he didn't know it. So, and that was like, what, 10 years after 10 years or more after he had left office. So, yes, he could live a long time with intervention, just as Ronald Reagan, may he rest in peace, lived a long life after his diagnosis. But that doesn't mean a person should be sitting in the White House just with their hand, on the button, the theoretical button. It's not really a button, but you get my point. And so it brings us to the conversation. How close is his cabinet? They've got all the evidence. He keeps having to take cognitive exams. Clearly, there's a reason. It's because when you get to a certain age that we have to do cognitive exams. That's all. But the fact that they're doing them so frequently, the fact that he's having all this imagery, is what I think really concerns a lot of people. I want to talk a little bit about this just as a naturopathic doctor. I'm a naturopathic doctor, so I have some medical training, but cardiology is definitely something I'm fascinated with. Taking naps, sleep apnea is one of the things that they suspect, but I would argue with Sanjay Gupta. I would want to add to what he had said. He is the expert. He is the internist and the cardiologist. I am but a mere student. But my question to him would be, wouldn't congestive heart failure also put you in that situation because you would have an oxygen deficit? So if the person's heart is weak and you're sitting there and you're not physically active, so you're not pumping your blood to get oxygen to the brain, what starts to happen is that your oxygen saturation starts to drop. And and your body, when the oxygen saturation drops, will go to sleep. It'll put itself to sleep. Time to go to sleep, because you don't have the energy to be active. You don't have enough oxygen. So sleep apnea could be a problem. But in addition to that, if he has congestive heart failure, we could also be looking at someone that simply isn't getting enough oxygen. Oh, great. Yeah, so if you're in our class, we are going to be starting the book today at 5 o'clock, and I'm extremely excited about it. This is normal to get sleepy after meals, and that's because all of the blood is going to the stomach to aid in the digestion of the food, and the oxygen is moving away from the brain and other organs towards focusing on processing the food. And this is why people will often have a siesta. So that goes back, if Mr. Trump had sleep apnea, if he had congestive heart failure, if he had just eaten, all of those things would take energy away from the brain and would cause him to fall asleep, would make him have somnolence. He would have those feelings. I don't think so, and I don't think he has time. By the time if they're secretly getting together and saying, Vance is part of his team, Rubio is part of his team, I don't think they're all that loyal. There are members in the military that are part of his cabinet. And so it would it's humiliating. Also, based on the visions I've seen, it's humiliating. It's humiliating to be in this situation and have to tell somebody it's the end of the road for them. It's humiliating that the Senate has to designate somebody who's an elder statesman who doesn't have skin in the game, that is not part of his cabinet. I don't think Lindsey Graham is part of his cabinet. Maybe he is, but I don't think so. That has to go and say, Mr. President, it's the end of the road for you. We had a great run, Mr. President, but this party is over. And are we there yet? I think we're there now. I think that this is a process, and I think that it's becoming increasingly apparent. Look, we are watching this several distances. We are quite a bit of a distance from the Oval Office, but imagine if you're in the Oval Office, what you're seeing every day. If this is what we're seeing from this, if this is the edited version, imagine what they're seeing without when they're, it's scary. This is the problem, Rose. Who do you send to say, Mr. President, they've got the votes in your cabinet? If you contest and send it to the House and the Senate, we can get the votes to have you removed, Mr. President, right? The duty has fallen on me. I didn't want this gig, Mr. President. I did not want this gig, but the duty has fallen on me to inform you that we have reached a consensus in the Senate. Now we give you the honor of resigning. I think it's going down now, like I think, I think there's look, stuff is happening. Stuff is happening because his cabinet has a right to the real medical records. And they were I know Lindsay is his emissary. Thank you, Rose Blue. I think the reason it was a vision a couple years ago where I saw him standing in the Oval Office with Trump, and that it was a conversation that Lindsey Graham had been given the duty to have that conversation. So it's painful. This process is painful. It's Susie Wiles is part of his cabinet. It cannot come from his cabinet. It can't be anybody that voted against him. It must be an elder statesman who's a Republican, who does not have skin in the game, who is his friend, and can deliver some harsh news to him. And I think it's happening now. The next few weeks are going to be very telling. It goes back to what the psychiatrist have said. Mary Trump, who's a licensed psychotherapist, that, abnormal psychology, this is her area of expertise. The great irony is that from this horror of being a Trump, cluster B, personality disorders and abnormal psych, is Mary's area. Yeah, this is her area of study, is abnormal psych. So she was the perfect person to write the book on Trump and witness the collapse of Fred Trump. They built a little office for him, and so that he would feel like he was working, but he would forget to put his pants on. And that whole process took about 5 to 10 years before eventually he was sent to a permanent facility of some type. And that, I believe, he died in a facility. And the scary thing about, Deborah, that was what Mary did her studies on: narcissism, personality disorder, and cluster B. And I think the main reason that Mary Trump did that was because she was a survivor of it. Yeah. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think that Lindsey Graham will be the person to have that conversation. And I think that the main person to go after Trump will actually be Marco Rubio. I think that he is going to eventually get the votes in the cabinet. And I think that if JD Vance is smart, he has to look like it didn't come from him. that it was something organic, that it happened from within the cabinet. And there are people that are never gonna agree. There are people like Miller. Miller will never agree to this, but I think the chief of staff will. I think that it's very likely the FBI will, particularly if they're being threatened with being fired. It's terrible. It's terrible. This whole thing is not good for the country. This is not good for our country. This is not good for us. All right, my loves, we're going to go ahead and do the empath's prayer. If you would like to receive a healing today, please go ahead and give the community your name, and we will come together as a community and we will pray for you. Somebody had talked about like personality changes with oxygen deprivation. I had a vestibular migraine. When was that? Last month? I had a vestibular migraine and severe altitude sickness, and my oxygen saturation dropped below 89%, right? So, what happens to your brain? You lose touch with reality. You start to act like a caged animal. You begin to go insane, and you lose you lose the ability to be rational. It's a terrifying, terrifying thing when you don't have oxygen to the brain. And in addition to everything else, that I'm fine now. I'm back in Oregon. Yes, and then I had a cough, and everybody thought I was dying. Yeah, when I fly, I get bad colds. The point is this: is part of what we're seeing with Trump's behavior changes is part of that because of this. He's falling asleep, emotionally getting crazy. It was very scary, but I'm okay. And the people that were mad at me came back. They resubscribed. They were like, "Oh, she was sick. We forgive her. She wasn't in her right mind. She said she was sorry." Yeah, I was not well. I was not well. I'm usually a very nice person, but yeah, I don't think I will ever be at a high altitude ever again. I don't think I'm built for it. I was born on the sea. I was born on the islands, Puget Sound, and I just think this is where I feel my best. I do well in Japan, which is also the Pacific. You know, if I'm going to Asia, it's the same. It's just the different side. I do great in Australia. I probably do great in Hawaii. I do great in Canada, BC. But yeah, I don't do high. I'm not a mountain girl. I know some of y'all are mountain girls, mountain boys. This is no mountain. I'm no mountain girl. I got to be by the sea, plenty of oxygen. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. We'll do the empath prayer, and then let's go give you guys a collective reading. Would y'all like that? We've got wow, a lot of y'all here. We've got 533 people. I think it's time to give you guys a collective reading. What do you say? Would you like that? And let's go ahead and pray for those of you who'd like to receive a healing as well. Sound good? Great to have you here. If you could like, share, and subscribe, I'd be really appreciative. You know, I travel the world and I always come back to the Pacific Northwest, and I know America has problems, but you know what? America's pretty damn great, even with Donald Trump. I just love this country and I love the Pacific Northwest. And I was thinking, well, I'll just move to Japan. I'll move to France. I'll move. You know what? I don't want to go anywhere other than maybe the Oregon coast. You know, I think if it ain't broke, why fix it? I got a pretty good deal here. I'm in a rent controlled place. You know, I just don't know. I think that my life's pretty damn good where it is. 62-foot elevation. Yeah. I'm thinking my doctors don't want me to go above 4,000 at this point after what happened to me. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever go to Peru. I don't think I'll ever see yeah, I can see it on videos, but there are certain places I just know I'm not going to be going there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say amen. And for those of you today who are requesting a healing, we come together as a community at this time and we pray. We pray that you and those you love receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And together again we say amen, amen, amen. May all souls be healed. May all souls be healed. Yes, we're having some flooding. That's true. All right. So this is the collective reading. This is your Christmas reading. Merry Christmas to you all. We're having a nice meal. Imagine this is a beautiful smorgasbord of food. That's what your reading is. Take what applies to you and everything else. You can just pass it down. But we're going to take a look at the global situation and see how it applies to all of us in the coming weeks as we face Christmas and the New Year's 2026. I'll try and do a 2026 video as well for you guys in the future. Okay, where we are at as a nation. The base of the matter is things are going to get better. I do think that something is happening. There is some kind of a movement towards communication, peace, harmony. The King of Cups is all about the great statesman. He is there to make your life better. He's the great communicator. He's he is the bridge over troubled water when everything looks crazy. When the waters are rocky, he stands stationary on the rocky waters and he creates peace. So this is a time of peace and level-headedness and just be an emotional bridge for people. It is very important that we not buy into this Fox. I was listening to Fox. They were covering Fox on Midas Touch, and Laura Ingraham was just attacking the Democrats and liberals. And this is everything that is wrong with the country right now, is this talking about people in such a terrible manner. And then well, you're a bunch of whatever. And it's counterproductive. And we really need to call people out when they begin attacking their fellow citizens in such a horrible way over something like just who they vote for. So we need to move away from this energy or this vibe of hating each other. King of Cups is all about it's almost like a therapist card. He brings the elixir. You like a cup of tea here he's handing you. He's sitting stable. The waters are exploding, but I'm calm. He's like the wise rabbi, right? And then you have the Three of Wands coming in, which is looking over the waters. So it's something greater, a 3-month period. So what do you want to build for yourself? What are your goals over the next 3 months? What are your goals for the next 3 months? Because this is talking about the next 3 months. Try and be a peacemaker. I read wands as months. I know some of y'all old witches read them as years. Tree ring, 1 or 2 tree rings a year. I can never remember. other people 6 months. Whatever, do whatever floats your boat. But I have always read wands because of dendrochronology. The wands are considered by many old school tarot practitioners to be the only way you can tell time in tarot, right? So, and that is an interesting conversation we can have, So, if that's true, how do you interpret a wand? I personally, the cards are going to talk to you however you program the cards. But for me, it's 3 months. That is just how I've always read. Somebody else is going to say 3 years. That's cool. It's up to your reader, right? But we always look for time and space with the wands. It is the wood and fire elements in Chinese medicine, right? So 3 of Wands is also waiting for your ship to come in. It's good tidings and it's good luck. So your ship is coming in. The next 3 months are positive, but you are advised to not engage in conflict with others and be like a duck. Let the water just roll off your back like the King of Cups. So that, and if you do, focus on developing your own career and your own goals for yourself over the next 3 months, because if you do that, you could do very well for yourself. The other advice for you is hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. The 2 of Swords is shut down. I don't want to see it. I don't want to la 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 la, right? So it is very important that you not engage in gossip. If you want to be taken seriously, if you want to be respected in your place of work or with your colleagues, that is a no gossip zone. And when you hear gossip, you need to avoid it like the plague if you want the good fortune that's coming over the next 3 months. So watch gossip and do not speak ill of others. Learn to let go of ill feelings towards others. Well, my ex-girlfriend or my ex-wife or my ex-husband or my ex-doggy or whatever did such and such and I can't let it go. That's not serving you. And instead, there's this strong message to all of us. You must avoid gossip at this time. It is negative. You must avoid speaking ill or engaging in ill speech against others, and instead focus on your ship coming in and what you can do to be a bridge. Do not take on people's personal issues. Be supportive and understanding and give them advice when you can, but do not take it on and do not get sucked into it. Nope, hang it up. I am not going to get between you and my brother, my sister, my uncle, my cousin, my boss. What is above you at this time is Archangel Michael, the truth. So here is what they're saying to you. If in your personal life, you want somebody to be exposed, the only thing that's going to happen if he's a terrible man, and you're going to look crazy. And you will become the target, and then they will begin to think you are the problem. Well, she says some great, crazy stuff coming out of her mouth, his mouth, their mouth. Instead, they're saying, if you really want to help yourself, be judicious and help others when you can. Keep to yourself. Do not gossip. Do not participate in gossip. And rest assured, the truth will come out. The truth will come out about your situation or anyone who's been corrupt or wrong to you. The truth will come out. You simply be kind, avoid gossip, avoid participating in gossip or ill will towards others. It is advised also for you to move towards a more spiritual life as the Hierophant moves into 6th position, coupled by Archangel Michael, who carries the sword. The Hierophant is to look towards the higher ethos or to look towards that which is greater than yourself and to a moral code that is part of your greater spiritual belief system. So if you're a nice Jewish person, gossip is called Loshan Hora, the evil tongue, Loshan Hora. That sounds rather vicious, doesn't it? And that's just telling you don't engage in evil tongue because evil tongue will come back on you. And that's basically the lesson here, the clamping down of the tongue, the hanged man. the Two of Swords. Zip it. Your business is your business. Your business is your business. The King of Pentacles, who hides the coin and keeps to himself, sits in your third house. Keep it to yourself. Keep your money to yourself. Be wise. Get on with being a success. People will look at you and say, damn, is she successful? She got a lot of money. She got a lot of this. She just keeps on keeping on being successful. He, she, they is successful. And the other person will, look, if a person has committed a crime, you go to the police and you report it. But if it's not a situation that you can control, it is advised to pull back, shut down, regroup, take care of your own goals over the next 3 months, and rest assured that this individual will be taken care of. This person will be taken care of, and the truth is coming out about this individual. So if you're looking at it from the perspective of Donald Trump, right? A lot of people, when will people start to see? I would say that now. But what you need to do at this time is to just focus on what you have to do to take care of yourself, your business, your career, your home, your finances. Be a mystery. Be a mystery. Ace of Cups, love is with you. Unconditional love. Rescue a dog. There's so many dogs right now that need rescuing. So many people have lost their pets because people have gone bankrupted. They can't afford to pay for anything, right? So, but Ace of Cups comes in. Love is as perennial as the grass. So think about animal rescue this Christmas. Rescue is the best way to get a dog if anybody in your family wants a dog for Christmas. But Ace of Cups, focus on the abundance of love. Your opposition at this time is instability, travel, and erratic movement. And so you are advised to not make any rash decisions or to up and run. The Knight of Wands is hasty. It's an Aries night. He is fast moving. He is war. He is Mars. His direction is the southwest. A lot of the time when people are off to Mexico for Christmas, we'll get the Knight of Wands. If you already have a trip planned, go enjoy it. Four Seasons, $350 a night to go to Cabo. Isn't that what happened when Ted Cruz took off? Let everybody freeze in Texas. $350 a night. We're going to the Four Seasons in Cabo, right? My daughters made me do it. To take the weapons of war away from your opponents, you must learn to say no. To take the weapons away from your opponents, you must learn to say no. As the Four of Cups is, this is all about no, no, no. Hanged Man, Two of Swords, Four of Cups. Now is the time of boundaries. Now is the time of boundaries. Hunker down, take care of yourself, shut down the bank of whoever, if you're loaning money to people. King of Pentacles has a selfish aspect. The King of Pentacles holds his coin and he keeps secrets. Your clarification at this time is confusion. I don't know who I am or where I need to go in my life. As you study and you assist and help others, you will find your purpose. Regarding issues of concern about the jobs market will slowly begin to heal within the next 3 months because of the Three of Wands, and it's sandwiched with a Page of Pentacles moving into Sun position. So within the next 3 months, we will see a slow economic recovery, and it'll be in full swing by this summer. Sun with the Page of Pentacles, which is Archangel Raphael, who brings work. Gabriel, excuse me. Gabriel is closest to the earth. Y'all know that, right? Gabriel gives us our ideas. Channeled writings come from Gabriel. Muhammad wrote the Quran. He had a vision, Gabriel, right? So Gabriel also is the archangel that influenced the Constitution of Russia, right? So Wings of Desire, right? Gorbachev was inspired, by the angels, Gabriel, right? So it's this idea also of bringing the coin or the work come summertime. Also, if somebody or something doesn't meet your standards, it's okay to say no. And that is your reading, and I hope it gave you some comfort. Wow, that's pretty cool. If you need a private reading, my information is below. I can see you for private consults and also medical consults if you need as a medical intuitive. Well, that's pretty freaking cool. That's pretty freaking cool. As scary as things are right now with the presidency, the economy slowly comes back. We had a 7-year period. First, the major companies, there was a lot of disinformation about COVID that I wanted to clarify. When we talk about COVID taking 7 years to come back from, there's a lot of fiddling with the data. There's fiddling with the data. Oh, we came back from COVID 2 years ago. No, that's disinformation. What happened was that major companies like Walmart and other Kroger, major companies did better. Why? Because the small mom and pop stores and restaurants, etc., collapsed under COVID. And when they collapsed, the larger conglomerates did very well because all of their competition was gone. So they're doing great. You see how you can fudge the data? We've come back. Sales are better than ever at Walmart. Things are doing great at Costco, right? So what happened, the horrible truth is that after COVID, a lot of people's little mom and pop yoga stores, little bookstores, little cafes and restaurants, Starbucks is fine, right? But it's not the whole picture. The entrepreneurs got hit really bad, and many of them never came back again. So it was great for large businesses because now they didn't have any competition. I just hate how they lie and fudge data like that. Well, their sales are up. Yes, but these people are all gone. 100,000 businesses went down. You see what I'm saying? But the economy is better than with 100,000 businesses down. You see what I'm saying? So I was working with AI the last couple of days on that. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, yes, for the small business, it's horrific. It's like, so it's really horrific. No, these major conglomerates are doing better than, yes, because they've destroyed their competition. So frustrating. I miss the yoga. We used to have a yoga place in downtown Portland where you could go and do yoga, and then they had a vegan restaurant attached, and I could get brown rice and tofu and broccoli, and I could do some yoga, and it was awesome. Do some yoga, then, you get some energy, then you sit down to a really hearty vegan meal, and you just feel like righteous. They used to also have juices. It went down. It's gone. Right? All right. So when we get the order, we will blitz away. And yeah, be sure and check out our book. It's around here somewhere. Y'all know we have a book club. The Trouble with Truth, Elizabeth Kelly Stevenson. She will hopefully be in our studios next month. She is our book of the month. Also, if any part of this is entertaining for you, we donate the profits from our Sunday show to charity. So we don't make a profit from Sunday, just to let y'all know that. Many of you know that. We've been doing this for about 5 years. We get together with people. We have fun. We raise money for charity. So because it's the holidays, every Hanukkah, Christmas, we do a food drive through feedamerica.org. So if you find any of this entertaining, please think about donating, or if you got some benefit from your reading today, think about donating to American feedamerica.org. And that, again, just to remind people that today's show is donated to charity. All right, let's blitz away. What are you thinking? Did we get the order? So good to see you all. Yeah, it's a nice way to give back to charity, to raise money for charity. And it's something I've done every Sunday since the show started. Well, yeah, not since the old apartment. What is that? Oh my God, it's about 5.5 years now, right? Since was it 2017 or 2019 when we started to do that? Yeah, we've raised, and with our partner programs with Google, we've raised like over $1 million easily. Yeah, it's really cool. It's just a wonderful thing, right? It's wonderful to get together and make the world a better place. All right. Joel Tilson, as many of you know, is the official floor director for the show. He gathers up people's questions and he scans the news to make sure that we keep the show nice and lively. So we're going to just quickly blitz through all these questions that Joel has prearranged. Thank you, Joel. I appreciate you. Joel is in beautiful Wyoming, and he's a hell of a cook, from what he tells us. His food sounds delicious. All right. Will Congress file contempt charges against the Trump cabinet officials who blacked out 500 pages of the Epstein file? So we're talking about a really serious cover-up. There's Trump. Three months, 10 of cups. There's a change of cabinet or a change of leadership, a new beginning. There's something about an investigation or an exposure that happens, and it appears to be coming from one of the intelligence agencies. So this is my FBI, by the way. The female hidden is the FBI. The male hidden is the King of Pentacles, which is the G-man, right? So something is going to happen where the documents will be released. There will be an expose. There'll be cooperation, and you can have this coming in. I don't think his cabinet is with him. I want to do another throw on this because this almost felt to me like he was giving economic incentives to people. That Ace of Pentacles, like, we're not going to turn on him because he's making me a multimillionaire. So it's almost as if all he has to do is pay people. He's sitting pretty, destroying the country because he's throwing money at people. That's basically what it showed. There's the investigation. There it is again with Trump. There it is. Hopes and fears, the Justice Department's in trouble. Oh my God. That's Pam Bondi. It's happening very quickly. And also that is a rushing of the documents. People walked out. Oh my God, she's in so much trouble. Trump told her to do it. Oh, things are going to be exposed. That which is hidden. Dirty family secrets, 10 of Pentacles. He's selling Pam Bondi out. He's going to blame her after he told her to do it. Look at that. She's stabbed in the back. The Queen of Swords, the Queen of the Courts. Owie, owie, boo, boo. She going to be betrayed by Trump. I never told her to do that. Yes, you did. Well, la-di-da, she's going to turn around and she's going to testify before Congress that she was ordered to do it. There's your impeachment. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, There it is. There's the impeachment. She gets betrayed, then cooperates with the investigation, strife happening. Some people say in August, but I think it's going to be long before that. Rejoicing over an investigation regarding Trump, dirty family secrets, the inheritance. Remember the dark aspects of 10 of Pentacles. It's an inheritance card. Dirty family secrets, what your uncle did, what your grandpa did, murdered somebody and buried them in the basement, right? Whatever you inherit. Well, we inherit the good and the bad. So the dark aspects of inheritance, like a genetic disorder, Alzheimer's, right? Cray, insane in the membrane. So his inheritance, his dirty family secrets, or his inheritance, that is coming to the surface. Pam Bondi, I'm telling you, he is throwing her to the wolves. She's got a 10 of swords right over her. And what's she going to do? Hey, chief, what happened here? You told me the ABC, and now I no longer need you, so I fed you to the wolves. Well, great. Then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go before the Senate and the House in closed door hearings and tell you everything I know. And that's an impeachment. That's also an opportunity if they've got Article 25, Amendment 25, Article 25, Amendment 25. If they have issued that, she would be working with Congress to see that it was followed through, because I'm telling you, she will turn on him 100%. Look. And it's going to happen very fast. Eight of Wands is rapid, quick change, right? How many of you read the cards? Isn't it fun? Oh, my Lord. Oh, my God. Putin is on his way out. How do we know Putin is on his way out? How do we know that Putin is on his way out? Because the data says so, right? We know that Putin is on his way out because the data says so, right? Phase 4. We're snagged at 2 because Hamas refuses to leave. Get the hell out. You got to go. You cannot stay, right? And then the rebuild of Gaza will happen. And then right after that, they will take out Putin. So he got to go, like Trump. He got to go. There's my baby. And she's gotten her face in the milk. Look at that. Y'all wanted to see my kitty cat. Mila, are you drinking the milk? Yeah, is that my tea? You see her? There's my baby. Hi, baby. All right. Putin's Black Sea resort was destroyed recently. Is he really frightened? Holy crap. Mila, don't drink my milk. Putin's cards. Let's take a look. He wants to take the weapons of war away from his enemies. 5 of Swords. But who are his enemies? Anybody that wants to negotiate peace. He wants to take Ukraine or bust. But specifically, he wants the trade routes and he wants that port. He wants Odessa. Anybody who's not on board will be eliminated. His trade, his money, his finances, and he's entering into the time of learning. But regarding his attitude, he feels that the entire world is against him. He is not a fan of Europe and Europe's treatment of him right now. He has a trip planned that he's thinking could potentially be canceled because it's the Knight of Wands. Also, he's going to South America. I can tell you that now because I'm in the records. This is South America. This is the Southwest. So that has me concerned because, as we had said when we did his remotes a couple of years ago, he's deeply involved with Venezuela, Cuba, Central South America, and there appears to be some kind of international trip. It could be, this is looking like BRICS, like some kind of an international meeting that he's hoping will be beneficial, revolved around trade, possibly with southwestern countries. That's looking like South America. He really wants control of South America and those trade routes. You can see that here. The trade routes are good in and of themselves. The trade routes have a good he is not a good person, but, overall, many of these trade routes will be beneficial to everyone. You know, I like that 9 of excuse me, I like the star and the hermit, which would indicate great scholarship, and a star blessing the way. So, but he's having serious problems with the world. He's got a 5 of swords, take the weapons away, the world, and he doesn't need to go to America right now. People had talked about him being invited back to the United States. He was already there and didn't get arrested when he was in Alaska, but right now that's not his focus. Moscow was attacked by Ukrainian missiles a couple nights ago. Oh, wow. How much longer before Putin is out? That's a really good question. When does Putin leave? Money. Opposition leaders. King of Wands in the House of Opposition can be a war card. Hopes and fears, his leadership. The Emperor, and the final outcome is partnership. Partnership with the West. He really will kill anybody that gets in his way, like Navalny. Huh. That's interesting. There is a new Western leader emerging. I don't know if this is Europe or the United States. I don't know which Western country this is, but there is a new woman in charge. The Queen of Cups emerges in the West. The Two of Wands faces West in the next couple of months. So Putin, mark my words, in the next couple of months, Putin will have to have a conversation with the Queen of Cups. She holds his fate, and she appears to be a new leader. But I think that Israel is planning on taking him out. And I think it's very private information. I think nobody knows about it. And I think it's you don't engineer October 7th, and there's real evidence he participated in October 7th. Israel will play it very cool and talk about having a judicious relationship with, but meanwhile, they're planning, as soon as they get a chance to take him out, they will take him out. Their relationship with him is over after October 7th. That's what I personally believe. Let's see if I'm right. Hi, Ann. Good to see you. All right. Former Speaker Pelosi is questioning Trump's mental state after his comments about Rob Marner's death. Well, if he was caught actively withholding data and he told the DOJ to do this, so there's his impeachment, according to the cards. It's a new beginning in DC, and that it's all about truth and exposing the truth. But no, I don't think that Trump will survive. I think that the truth is coming out, and I think that by withholding information about the Epstein files, never mind what's in the Epstein files, and then lying about it, and then having Bondi take the hit, all of that is grounds for impeachment and removal, and I think it's going to happen very quickly. What is the state of peace talks over the Ukrainian conflict? Good question. Peace talks in Ukraine. The Sword of Truth, Archangel Michael, associated with the Church of Ukraine, and economic benefit. What is ultimately to the economic benefit of Russia? So being judicious about economic benefits, well, yeah, it's all about profits, economic benefits, and trade. How they can convince Russia that they don't have to be so harsh. You can leave. We can work out new trade deal. and final outcome is death and transformation. So it will be resolved economically through a series of economic incentives. Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, Six of Cups, take the deal economic. The money man comes in. There it is. Yeah, that's what happened. You can read your own cards. But yeah, this is similar to the rebuild of Gaza. If you're looking at the data on the rebuild of Gaza, which is that if the people of if Hamas, the terrorist group, leaves, and if the people are given an economic incentive and extra land, and they're assisted and helped through peace initiatives, and if Israel is saying, okay, we're going to help you sign a peace treaty with us, and we're going to build you up, but you just got to sign this peace treaty and you'll get more land out of the deal. We think we can get you some land from Egypt, and we think we can give you part of the land that's currently in the no man's land area. So sane people are going to take that deal, right? And then the bad people are going to leave. And then at that point you have an economic opportunity. So people are going to want peace because it benefits them economically to have peace. And that's what you see here with Zelensky in these cards, is this economic incentive with the Six of Cups in the opposition, with the Page of Pentacles, which is new jobs. And then here again, we can see the treasure trove that ever overflows is the Empress of Gaia, who brings the Ace of Pentacles. And this ultimately leads to the transformation, death of the situation, and the Star. Seek financial resolution rather than war. How can we both benefit as allies? How can we create a soft border and economic opportunities for both of us that benefit us both without harming your people or my people? I'm telling you, the future is oasis. The future is, in some version or another, people are moving towards oasis as a way, and peace deals like this to end wars. Oh, very nice. Oh, Joel saw Avatar. Don't tell us anything about it, but is it worth watching? Because people say it's the best in the series, but I don't know if that's hype or what. All right, Trump looked like a coked out druggie on his national speech. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad to see this whole thing go down, isn't it? I don't know. I think it's very sad. It's horrible to see people get sick and die and lose their minds. And all right. I liked him on The Apprentice. I thought he was nice. All right. Trump's mental and physical state. Where are you at, Trump? What are you up to? Contracts, deals, karma. I think he's all about trying to prove that we are going to be profitable because of his economic decisions long term. But if you're looking at the stages of grief, which he has experienced, ultimately what took him out was economics. He could only bribe so many people. People didn't want to throw him to the wolves because he was paying them. He was basically paying them not to remove him. There's something about economic opportunities which are not public information, which was the incentive for them to not turn on Trump. That's basically what happened. However, he pisses off. Look, if somebody's being bribed not to impeach Trump, then you give them more money. Well, he's given me $1 million on the side for such and such to not speak ill of him and blah, blah. Well, we'll give you $2 million to get rid of him, right? If this kind of wheeling and dealing over contracts and seduction and hooked on this stuff. This is kind of like a codependent relationship in order to make a profit. Really scary. Because how do you get rid of somebody if we're not getting rid of him? He's making us rich, right? Like MTG. she left. Marjorie Taylor Greene is leaving with $23 million. I invest in the stock market. I don't have $23 million. How do you go from a salary of $50K a year to having a portfolio of $23 million? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, a lot changed when she got into Congress, and that doesn't make sense, right? All right, oil tankers off Venezuela coast seized by the U.S. Navy. Is this a prelude to war? That has me so nervous, Joel. I can't tell you how nervous this makes me. I don't like this at all. He would love a wag the dog situation, wouldn't he? Yeah, this goes back to like the sinking of the Armada, like these kinds of situations that lead to war. And whether or not they're going to, is this like Queen Victoria, where she lets you be a pirate if you give her some of the wealth, if you give her some of the benefits? Because I don't think this is sustainable. I don't think the war with Venezuela is sustainable. At the same time, according to the information we could get on Putin from the Akashic records, it appears that Putin is planning a trip. I don't know if it's a BRICS or what, but it appears to be in South, possibly South or Central America. So what's happening now is this attempt to try and control or sabotage trade routes and alliances between Russia and some of these South American companies, their oil, drugs, etc. Drugs, which is probably also deeply connected with mafia, which has Russian ties with the United States, which is weird because Trump had the same connections, right? Trump also was accused of having connections with these kind of corrupt persons. Yeah, he's melting right before our eyes, says Joni. Is it hard to watch? For me, yes. I think it's very. I feel embarrassed for him, and I find it very difficult to look. I can't watch him. I feel sorry for him because I am an empath, and people are like, look, don't let Whimsy see it. Oh, I feel sorry for him. Help him, right? It's not. It's very difficult to watch somebody collapsing in such a public manner. You know what I'm saying? Don't y'all feel that way? No. You enjoy this? I don't. I don't enjoy it at all. I find it painful. Yeah, I agree, Kelly. Oh, you're in Australia. Lovely. Lovely. Yeah, gotta have those fistful of friendlies. What are you guys thinking about Liz Cheney? Do you think that she would be a welcome addition to the Senate, or is it all about getting as many Democrats in there? I don't think we're going to ever see a Democrat for a long time in the Senate in Wyoming. So, yeah, I think Liz Cheney would be great because she would be a moderate voice, which, given who your governor is, it would be welcomed in Wyoming right now to have some moderate voices. Liz Cheney. Well, she doesn't need to run. I mean, there's no need. There's the job. She has the resources and the funding. You can see Nine of Pentacles. She's okay financially. Hopes and fears, the assistance, judgment falls in her favor. I would say she's. A lot of people were upset at her what she did with Trump. However, now that the truth is coming out, she will run this race. Chariot is to run a race. If you're asking about an election, running a race, and you use cards to look at running a race, you can go ahead and use the Chariot because the Chariot is to run a race. So I would say it's very, very likely that she will win. And the other thing she's saying, according to the Akashic records here, is that she doesn't need large money from PACs. She feels she can do it on her own. Nine of Pentacles, Two of Swords over the PACs, Page of Pentacles, leads me to think that she actually has some ethics. Yeah, she's concerned about this. She's got real concern about anybody bribing her. Two of Swords with that Page of Pentacles, and then Six of Pentacles with the Knight of Pentacles, the fact that she stands flush here with the Nine of Pentacles. But she does have that Five of Pentacles, abandoning the broken man, and poverty, exile. She got exiled by the Republican Party because of what she did with Trump. I think it's a new attitude about her going forward, given everything that's going down with Trump right now. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Oh, hi, Debbie. We hadn't seen you in a while. Debbie, I was worried about you. I hope you're okay. All right, you guys. I think we're going to call it quits. Did I get to... Oh, wow. This is interesting. Rumor that Trump was in Walter Reed Hospital. You guys hear about this a few days? Oh my God. It's like, take Whimsy away from she's going to get upset again and feel sorry for Trump. I know you guys don't feel sorry for him. I hate to see anybody suffer. I can't. I know he did terrible things, but it's just my nature. I can't. I don't want to see people suffering. Russia, yeah, things are really falling apart in Russia. They've been in trouble for a very long time, and they've covered it up for a very long time. Raging, yeah, he's not doing too well at all. Oh yeah, I guess I would be in that category. I'm an older person. Empathetic to Jelaine? Objectively, no. Objectively, she's a pedophile, and she shouldn't have anything special than anyone else. I think that what people were bothered by was that they decided to protect their friends and send her off to prison. Not that it's a problem that she's in prison, but she should be in prison with her friends. She's a woman, they'll be in a men's prison, but they should all be in prison. And I think what bothered people was that there should be a lot more people than her in prison. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's so interesting. Do I make my own noodles? I have, but usually I just buy them. I don't have time for that. And drop biscuits are nice too. Actually, they can take control right away, and then he has 21 days to fight it, and then they have to prove that if they're going to do it, it's because they've got assurances in the Senate, and it's very likely they will get assurances in the Senate because so many Republicans are not going to be running in 2026, 2028. Netanyahu, they're saying his numbers are back up. I think that's absolutely insane that his numbers would be back up, considering that it was his security breach that led to October 7th. Never mind all the other crazy stuff he's done. We'll do one more and then we'll call it quits. Thanks for hanging with me, you guys. It was fun. Netanyahu out in 2026. Let's hope so. He's destroyed Israel. He's a lot like Putin. He's an Ayn Rand enthusiast, right? Yes, he's not going to be running. He's going to be stepping down. He's going to take the deal. So this is somebody who could be stepping down. Also, he's starting to have his own health problems. He's afraid he's going to be prosecuted or face prison time. And it's likely that something could happen that strips him of his rights. He refuses to acknowledge that he's done anything wrong. There's a great celebration there's a great celebration with his opponents and a 6 of cups, which leads me to think that somebody is the new darling in Israel, 6 of cups, 3 of cups, and that he is yesterday's news and he is gone. 5 of pentacles with a 9 of wands. He has been abandoned by his constituents, and he is facing possible serious censure or incarceration with a 9 of wands as his outcome. Strictly for entertainment purposes, you understand. All right, my beloveds. I hope you'll be here tonight at 5 p.m. for heart-centered remote viewing. If you are an elder and an empath, we will be in class 3. It is step 2 of remote viewing, and we will be studying what is a trance, how do people trance, and how can you get into a trance state so that you can be the best remote viewer possible. All right, that's it for me. Thank you, everyone who has donated to our charity, feedamerica.org. If you're trying to get in for a reading or you need a consult with me, I would love to see you, and all that information is below. Give yourself a treat for the holidays, and hopefully we can give you a nice reading, maybe a medical consult as well. All right. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. We'll see you next time, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It was a lot of fun. All right. Bye, you guys. See you later.